All right, what's going on, everybody? This is Justin Davis, and you are looking at the 11th episode of Principal's Perspective, where I'm your host, a principal to the people. And this week's lesson is centered around the idea of Women's Month. And one of the most spectacular women that we've been introduced to over the past decade is former First Lady, Michelle Obama. And the quote that she has about education is simply this: "My education not only helped me develop skills, and not only helped me develop the ability to read, but it helped me to develop confidence." And confidence is a big word that people throw around all the time, but do we really know what confidence means, and do we really understand how school impacts confidence? Well, I'm going to help you see it. And as educators and parents, it's our responsibility to make sure that that confidence is coming through. What do I mean by that? Well, educators, we think about books and content most of the time, and how students are doing in the classroom, whether they're actually getting A's and B's. The truth of the matter is the most successful people in the world are the most confident people in the world. And because everyone in our country, with the exception of very few people that are homeschooled, actually go to school, a public school, most of them actually have to go around and figure out how to become confident in this new world that they've been introduced to once they leave the home. And as educators, as teachers, most importantly, we are the ones that will pretty much shape their self-view as they go throughout the educational system. So it's our responsibility to not just focus on whether students are having success in the classroom academically, but whether they're developing socially and whether their confidence is increasing. What does that look like? Well, that may look like a student that actually started off struggling by not passing too many things and showing up to class late, and showing up to school late and missing school in general, to where they may have 50% attendance. And the next period, or the next marking period, they may end up with 70% attendance. Are we actually doing our responsibility or duty to basically tell that child, even though you're not meeting the mark, let's celebrate the positive. You're actually coming to school a lot more than you used to come to school. So let's boost that confidence and actually focus on the positive. Another thing that we could do as educators is, instead of thinking about just the grades, is focus on the things that they may be great at. They may be a great student athlete, or they may just be passing the classes, and they actually may do better when they're on the team. And focus on that. Let them know, hey, I noticed when you're playing basketball, you do a phenomenal job. And you actually have less time to focus on your studies than you do when you're not playing. So after you get through this season, let's sit down and talk about why you are more successful during the season, and what are the things that you're doing that you're not doing when you're playing. So as educators, that's another strategy that we can take. But even more importantly, parents, everybody will tell you that you are the key, but I'm going to enforce that it is up to you. You are the key, especially for students that are younger age, elementary, middle school. What you believe about your son or daughter is what matters. And if you believe they're great, they'll be great. If you focus on their lack, then they'll focus on their lack. What do I mean by that? If you focus on the subjects or topics that they struggle in, then they'll focus on the subjects that they struggle in, and they'll continue to struggle. If you focus on the subjects and topics that they actually may be naturally inclined to have success, then they'll probably have success. So we as parents need to make sure that we are investing in our young people and instilling confidence in them in a way that will actually support what we're looking for. And I know as parents it may be difficult, because we have been programmed by the educational system before we became parents to believe that if we get an A or a B, then we're successful. And that's all that matters. But the truth of the matter is, what's most important is that our son or daughter is confident in themselves. Because when they get out there in the real world, regardless of whether they pass high school as a valedictorian or whether they pass high school with a C average, the confidence that they have about themselves when they go off to college and when they graduate college, same thing, whether they graduate from college as a valedictorian with a diploma or whether they graduate barely passing classes with a diploma, their confidence is what's going to matter. So I know it may be difficult to reprogram and make that shift, but we need to make that shift, parents. If we make that shift and start focusing on the positive, and start helping our students become more confident in themselves and what they're naturally talented and great at, and focus on those things more than what they lack, then I promise that confidence will take over and they'll find success no matter what. So this is where I end. This has been a phenomenal week. I'm looking forward to being able to help and support everyone in the community, my teachers, my parents, my students. And I want you to know that I want you to have a phenomenal work week. And most importantly, never forget, if you're in school, have a phenomenal school week. If you're not in school, have a phenomenal week in life, the school of life. We should never stop learning, people. So love you. I'll catch you next week.